unique situation today. It's December 18th, and so we are full go into late season, and I still have one buck tag in my pocket. So it's back to focusing on the food sources. I decided to come back to this little property. I've been just calling it the little farm all year. This is a tiny little piece of permission that I gained access to last year. Scouted it out pretty hard. It's going to be really hard to kill a good buck over here with a bow, especially in late season, that's for sure. Pretty much all it is one tiny little ditch, one little draw. More than anything, I just wanted to get back here and be able to get eyes on this side of this field. And with this wind, this is basically my only option that I could do anyway, was come over here. And there are no trees. You can't really tell back behind me, but this is just a fence line right here with some grass and some shrubs growing up next to it. So that's why I'm tucked in here on the ground. Got the bow right here just in case, but I don't anticipate getting a shooter in bow range tonight. Maybe one of the bucks I have pictures of. Hopefully one is still alive and two is somewhere close and decides to come feed out in this beanstable too, and I can get a little bit of intel on where one of these bucks is potentially bedding. Two of them are for sure at least 5 years old or older. One of them, the deer I found the shed to last year, is one of those deer I'm talking about, and he's a really nice deer. Just a slick, clean 10-pointer, pretty heavy deer. There's another buck that's mainframe 8 with a bunch of trash. I filmed that deer a ton over the summertime when I was velvet scouting in these beans, and got a few daylight photos of him while running cameras down here this season. That buck is awesome also. He's definitely one of the other ones that I'm most interested in. And then there's another Big 10. He's another deer that I filmed in the summer, but this deer has a bunch of mass. I mean, he's super palmated. He's got a lot of webbed mass. Really, really cool buck. That deer, I'm not exactly sure on his age, but I know that he's at least 4 years old because a friend of mine has pictures of him from 2 years ago, and there's no way that deer was younger than 2 at the time. But I'm basically scouting more than anything tonight, and hopefully I can get eyes on one of these bucks and start to put a game plan together for the rest of the season here. This deer is all the way out by the road. So I'm set up in the same stand that I hung just this past week. There's at least 4 bucks over here that I would shoot. There's one in particular that I'm really after, and that is this Big 10. He's been the one I've been really zeroed in on, really focused in on, basically ever since my wife and I found his shed last spring. And then I followed up by getting some cool velvet footage of him this summer in these beans. Got a lot of cool pictures of him, and pictures of him basically at the end of summer, trail camera videos, and I know the deer is at least 5, if not 6. And he's just a really cool, cagey old buck. 2 Sundays ago, I was sitting about 200 yards over to the east side of this field, of this bean stubble field. This buck fed right here. That night, I presume he was bedded very close to here. He had to have been bedded in this draw somewhere in this ditch. There's a single cottonwood tree, probably 100 yards from me in the whole draw. There's only really one area that's got kind of a grassy patch, and it's right where that single cottonwood tree is standing. The night that I was sitting on the other side of this field, when I first saw him, he was already on my side of that cottonwood tree. I think that buck was possibly bedded up in that grassy type of vegetation that surrounds that cottonwood tree. Now, he could have been bedded a little bit further down and then just fed along the edge of this field, and I couldn't see him until he got up here. Either way, he was not bedded very far from where I'm sitting right now. Yeah, so do I expect him to be doing that very consistently? No, absolutely not. There's just not a lot of cover on this property, and so I don't expect that deer to have a very consistent pattern. There's just very little structure to make a deer like that, a big old mature buck, do something on that consistent of a basis on a property like this. From what I've seen over the years, you very rarely see him do the same thing twice, and if you do, it's few and far between. That deer will probably bed in this draw multiple times. He probably beds in it often, just to be out here kind of away from any sort of pressure from the neighbors or anything, because you're just out here in a sea of ag pretty much. All he has to do is pick a spot, get up out of his bed, and be 20 yards from fast food right there. And 20 yards from fast food right there, and feed in either direction, and be totally secluded and totally safe for the rest of the night. That's what makes a property like this so challenging. I think my odds are very, very, very slim, but you never know. You won't ever know if you actually get out here and try. So I was just happy as hell to see him when I was out here scouting. Conditions are awesome. I love these kind of conditions to hunt in. Maybe that shed of his that we found last year that I brought with me in the truck, it'll bring me some luck, and maybe that deer's bedded up a little closer than I think he probably is tonight, and he'll get up and do exactly what he did 2 Sundays ago.